Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
A road course that has been known across the NASCAR world for decades now, putting on some of the best road course racing you can find in a stock car. Deep up in upstate New York, we're coming to you live from the virtual Watkins Glen Speedway here tonight for the Overtake iRacing League Xfinity Series live on Vspeed. Should have a fun one here tonight in this 7-turn, 2.45 mile road course. Watkins Glen, the 11th race of the season and the penultimate race of the regular season. After this, there's only Daytona and then the OiL Xfinity playoffs, so one of the last opportunities to try and get some points and lock your way in to that 16 driver field in the postseason in a couple weeks' time. 50 laps tonight will be the window in which these drivers do battle, with one stage break scheduled around lap 20. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Gagnon. I will be your host this evening for this 50-lap road course race. And alongside me, you won't hear him, but you'll see everything that he's seeing. It's our producer, Christian Hill. Looking at the points coming into today's race, as we alluded to, only 2 races left in the regular season. 7 different winners through the opening 10 races, thanks to the victory there for the 94 of Bobby Hall Jr. just a week ago at Richmond, moving himself into 6th and locking himself in with the win. You can see those drivers there with the victories have locked themselves in. A couple drivers doing really well on points, even if they haven't locked themselves in yet, between Hensley, Lyons, and Bieber. And they'll take the top 16. So right now it is tight battling on the cut line. Kyle Mays, Craig Schroeder, Matt McMeekin, and Drew Prohl all battling for that last playoff spot. And to a degree, Matt Grenier as well. He has been running really well the past couple weeks here, including a 2nd place finish last week. Could he try and find his way into the postseason late here? There's still so much on the line and not a whole lot of time to do it here. Watkins Glen will provide one of the more interesting situations that we'll have on the calendar. Only this and then Daytona. Those are the only 2 races they have left on the regular season schedule. You can see those 2 listed in white. And then they'll jump into Pocono to kick off that playoff schedule there and begin eliminating after every 3 races till they work their way to Phoenix in a few months' time. But Watkins Glen, the second of 3 road courses on the schedule this year. At Mid-Ohio, we got treated to a really solid race in which Alex Penn picked up his first victory of the season. Could he go back-to-back here tonight, become the road course ringer of the OiL Xfinity Series? A lot of questions remain up in the air there. But while we're talking about Watkins Glen, let's take a look here at what these drivers are going to be facing tonight. You can see they have that tight right-hand turn in the turn 1, make their way up the S's toward that backstretch. They have to navigate that bus stop in the back corner, make the big looping carousel turn in 5, and then charge the way down through 6 and 7. It'll be a 2.5 mile lap here. And it's a lot of elevation changes. You rise and fall a couple hundred feet here at this track, especially going up through the S's. That's all uphill. And then that run from the carousel down to turn 6, that's all downhill. So there's a lot of challenges for the drivers here tonight, especially if you don't have a lot of time running Watkins Glen or just running road courses in a stock car in general. It's going to be a unique challenge. A lot of time will be gained and lost in those heavy braking zones for the bus stop, for turn 1. You see a lot of drivers make up a lot of time there, and you'll see the field really start to stratify out, I think, in that second half of the race after the opening stage. And that will bring us to just about the start of tonight's race. It'll be just about time to grid in a moment, and when we have the qualifying results, we'll give them to you. But it's going to be a beautiful day, or a beautiful evening for racing in real time, a beautiful day for virtual racing here at Watkins Glen. We'll take a quick look at the weather while we've got a second here, actually. It's a nice balmy day here, 68 degrees in upstate New York, a warm day for it being late March. Track temp 84 degrees, not incredibly frigid as like it could be for Watkins Glen. However, that is not overly hot. Those tires will take some time to heat up, and it might be a couple laps before they get up to that optimal temperature. We're going to hope for no chance of rain here today. Can't imagine we'll see much of it, but we're going to do the rain dance and make sure it stays away. That's always a threat here in Watkins Glen. With all the Finger Lakes nearby, it can bring a lot of precipitation to the area. But I think we'll be high and dry here tonight for this penultimate race, and it should be a good one. Quick recap of last week while we've got a second. It was the 94 of Bobby Hall Jr. who picked up the victory at Richmond a week ago to lock himself into the playoffs, held off Matt Grenier and Daniel Cunningham. Cunningham's been running really well as of late as well. 3 podium finishes in his last 4 races. That 08 has really figured it out. But I do believe it is time to take a look at the starting grid of tonight's race. It will be in just a moment, actually. And some beautiful shots here. You can see the elevation through the S's there from this shot. You see how much they have to climb up turn 2 into turn 3. It can really get you out of sorts when you're trying to go left to right and you're also worrying about going uphill. Visibility is really limited going up through the S's on cars in front of you. So if someone in front of you's got an issue, you might be out of luck. So let's take a look here tonight at the starting grid. Oh, sounds like qualifying actually has been extended a hair, so maybe a little bit more time for trying to get this out. So we'll settle in for another couple minutes here while they're finishing up their qualifying session. It's been extended a little bit tonight for the sake of it being the road course. I'll get the information to you as they come to us. So right now, producer Christian taking a look at this qualifying session, getting it ready to go to pass the information along to you all. I'll just ask him here on air while we've got a second. How much time is it showing there in qualifying? Alrighty, so it sounds like they're now just reaching the end of that session. About 10 seconds left in this qualifying session here from Watkins Glen. Couple bonus minutes for these drivers to try and go out there, maybe run one more hot lap, try and get their car situated before they go out and do 50 laps of battle here tonight. 20 laps will be the opening stage, and then 30 in the backstage of this stage green will bring us to our 50 laps, 122 miles. So now, without further ado, we can take a look at our starting grid for tonight's race from Watkins Glen. It is Alex Penn in the 30 on pole with a 112.513. To his outside, Michael Kostick in the 8 with a 113.128. Alex Penn won at Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago, looking to go 2 for 2 on the road courses here in the regular season. Row 2, it's Daniel Cunningham in the 08 and Drew Prohl in the 80. Little inverse action there in row 2. Cody Anderson in the 42 will roll off 5th. The 5 of Andy Kurtz rolling off 6th. Tony Iverson, two-time winner this season, rolls off 7th. Blake Hensley to his outside there in 8th. Matt McMeekin in the 41, back tonight for Watkins Glen, the 41 machine. To his outside, Matt Grenier in the 15, looking to make that late surge to the postseason. In row 6, you've got the 56 of Craig Schroeder and the 11 of Dustin Reinstedel. In 13th, it's last week's winner, Bobby Hall Jr. in the 94. To his outside, Brett Bieber in the 32. And then Lucas Lyons in the 48 and Justin Ray in the 38. Travis Bieber will roll off 17th here tonight in the 114, and Michael Cole in the 67 will round out the field from the 18th position. $18 cars ready to roll here at Watkins Glen. Alex Penn, Michael Kostick, that front row. And here they go now, rolling for the pace lap. They'll do one lap around here before the pace car will peel off. An opportunity as well to see how these cars will make their way around the track here tonight. See Alex Penn in that black and green striped number 30. He's on pole. And you see going through turn 1 there, that'll be quite the frantic race down to the opening corner. A lot of opportunities to pass there, a lot of opportunities for calamity there as well. Now you'll see them make their way up through the S's as the pace car will guide them along. "50 laps tonight's race. 40 miles an hour on pit road will be the speed they'll need to go. 3 sets of tires will be available to them over these 50 laps. There will be an unlimited attempt of green-white checkered attempts if necessary, with our one stage tonight happening at lap 20. Those stage wins will also go a long way in trying to name the regular season champion. And now they go through the S's. Michael Kostick taking the short way around, maybe saving a little bit of fuel there, going right through there. If they do that during the race, that will be a slowdown penalty for cutting the course, and they will have to give that time back. Just something to note for when this one gets going. And now they make their way out of the carousel, down the short chute toward turn 6. Tough sentence to say. But as they'll make their way through turn 6 and into turn 7, it will be just about time to drop the green flag here from Watkins Glen International. Fred, the pace car driver, going to lead them down toward turn 7. You'll see him peel on the pit road right here on corner exit. Penn and Kostick, the front row. Cunningham and Prohl, that second row. The green flag is in the air, and we are racing in the OiL Xfinity Series at Watkins Glen. Their way up through the S's. Looks like Drew Prohl got shuffled out of line there coming off of turn 4. He's going to fall way back in the early going, outside of the top 10 already. Things getting real congested through the bus stop here. Kurtz sideways, saves it. McMeekin now sideways coming off the bus stop. He's into the fence. He has to collect it and get it going, but there's a ton of smoke billowing out of the 41 machine. A tough start there for Matt McMeekin. That damage might be terminal, and it's only the opening lap. There is smoke piling out of the engine of the 41 as he'll try and nurse that thing back to pit road. But the opening lap has been completed. Alex Penn from the pole will hold on to the lead here. Kostick just behind him. Then it's a big 3-second gap already back to Daniel Cunningham in third, and then Cody Anderson in fourth. On board here with the 24 of Iverson, who's trying to track down the 42 of Cody Anderson. The battle for fourth is on here through the S's. Iverson gets a pretty good run out of the S's and looks to track down the 42 as they make their way toward the bus stop. Getting an onboard view of just how much that car rattles around when you go over the bumps here. These cars have a good bit of clearance, but it definitely will take the wheels off the ground when you go over that curbing. But it is the fastest way through there, so you're going to see everybody doing it. Iverson up 2 positions from where he qualified in the opening lap, trying to tack on another one here if he can get to the back bumper of the 42. Looks like some really good battling just behind them as well. The 15 of Matt Grenier in 9th right now on the back bumper of Hall. As they make their way off of turn 7, you can see the gap about 2 car lengths off of turn 7 here is 15 and 94. They'll both dive it down into turn 1. Grenier is right there off of turn 1. He's on the back bumper of Hall as they make their way through the S's. Matt Grenier still looking for his first victory of the season. He came close last week with that second place finish, but the man ahead of him was the person who beat him at Richmond, with Hall getting the victory there. Both of them were in a fierce battle for that last playoff spot until Hall picked up that victory. And now Grenier still on the outside looking in, trying to find every point he can here tonight to put him in a better position over the last 2 weeks. Drew Prohl rallying back as well. We saw he had some issues off of turn 4 that opening lap. Fell back to about 13th. He's worked his way back into the top 10 and now is closing in on the 15 of Grenier. As they'll make their way off of turn 4. Same order as they passed the stripe in last time by. Just behind them, though, Travis Bieber and Justin Ray going to battle it out for 11th. Ray looking to the inside of Bieber here in the turn 1. He's got a nose ahead and will take that position away from Travis Bieber. Brett Bieber on the back bumper of both of these guys as they make their way into the S's. This is the point of the race here. 4 laps in, you start settling into your line. Cars start to spread out just a little bit. You can really start hitting your marks and trying to save tires and fuel and get ready for this stage break here in about 15 laps or so. And this is where you start to find out what your car has today. It is the fixed iRacing setup, but everyone drives it a little bit differently. And you know, over the course of the run, you'll see who's going to be able to keep as much tire on that car as possible and who cannot. Even though it was a cold track here today, those tires probably up to temp now after a couple of flying laps. 5 laps gone of the 50-lap race here from Watkins Glen. Alex Penn up at the front of the field, the number 30 machine, 3.5 seconds clear of Michael Kostick. Penn has jumped out to a formidable lead here in the early going. Travis Bieber hasn't let Justin Ray get away quite just yet. He's keeping that gap at about 2 to 3 car lengths around the track, but he hasn't had the run to really close up to the back bumper of the 38. On board here with the 114. Seeing exactly what it looks like trying to get around this track. Up 5 spots from where he started here. Good early going for the 114, although you know he'd like to get 11th back from Justin Ray if he can. Really seesawing the wheel through the carousel there as they make their way toward turn 6. Ray got a really good release off the corner there, really opened up that gap. They're both closing in on the 80 of Drew Prohl just ahead of them. Going to see if we can jump up toward the battle for 6th. Blake Hensley and Tony Iverson. Actually, the battle for 5th, 6th, and yeah, this whole grouping here all running pretty close together. The 31 of Hensley and the 24 of Iverson here running pretty close as they make their way toward the bus stop. You can see how deep the 31 got into corner entry there. Nearly wiped out the camera attached to the side of the wall. That Toyota Supra rolling through the carousel. Producer Crispin got a little tense there. He was saying that camera's expensive. Please don't hit it. About a car length back of Iverson here as they make their way toward turn 6. Kurt closing up that gap as well. He's within a car length of the 31. Now on to the front stretch. Iverson leading the 31 and the 5. Will the 31 get a run to try and make a move toward turn 1? Don't think he's going to this time, but he's going to close right in to the 24 and apply some pressure. To make their way up into the S's. The gap only a car length. Iverson charging up the S's, left and then right, or right then left, and then Hensley just behind him. A little bit of a wiggle there from the 31. He's going to lose a little bit of that momentum, trying to carry just a hair too much speed through turn 4. And Kurtz is lurking just behind him. Hensley really willing to drive it deep into the bus stop here. He's able to close up a little bit of that gap. Half a car length the difference right now between the 24 and the 31. Bit of a wider release for the 31, trying to cover a little bit more speed. He'll slide right back into the mirror of the 24, taking up all available real estate behind him. Making their way back toward the front stretch here. Hensley has been able to apply the pressure all lap, but hasn't found that window of which he could try to make the pass. The 24 of Iverson right now running the smooth, steady line in the 1. The 31 is right there. 8 laps complete here from Watkins Glen. We're on board with the battle for 5th. Tony Iverson, Blake Hensley, nose to tail through the S's as they try and track down Cody Anderson ahead of them, but right now, the focus for the 24 has got to be that big number 31 Toyota Supra behind them. Now Hensley's going to look to the inside of Iverson going into the bus stop. Side by side they go. Hensley takes away that position and will move into the top 5. Got a great run through the S's, made the move going into the bus stop, and that is a really tough place to try and go too wide. 24 didn't have a ton of options there and ends up losing the position and falls back quite a bit as now Hensley settles in to that 5th place spot. But I want to take a quick, let's take another look at that pass in the bus stop here. We kind of caught the camera at a rough spot, but we'll take another look and see that pass that Hensley made just a moment ago. And you see the 24 tries to get the turn in there to stay side by side, but just didn't have the real estate necessary. Not a great line to have to take through the bus stop, and the 31 able to take it away with relative ease with that better positioning going into the bus stop. And he'll roll back out of the carousel with a pretty hefty margin there over the 24, but Hensley has closed up toward the back bumper of the 42. As well as, to a degree, the 08 of Cunningham. This battle here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th starting to materialize a little bit as that 31 looks really strong here in the opening going. Might be pushing the car a little bit more than some of the cars ahead of him, knowing that this stage is only 20 laps long, but making the most of it right now as he's diving in and getting pretty close to the back bumper of the 31. Ten laps complete here, halfway through the opening stage. Alex Penn leads by 8 seconds over Michael Kostick, and then it's another 8 seconds back to this 3-car battle for 3rd. As you see Alex Penn here, smooth sailing. Right now, he is just taking his time and cruising around this course right now, relatively unopposed. Makes his way through the bus stop. Alex Penn already has a win this season. He picked up a victory at Mid-Ohio back in the 4th race of the season. And then has been pretty solid run after that and looks to try and make it a 2-for here today. But we're going to jump back to that battle for 3rd as Cody Anderson and Daniel Cunningham in the thick of it here with Hensley. Cody Anderson actually around the 08 of Cunningham. Cunningham falls back to 4th. Hensley trying to put him back to 5th as well as they make their way toward turn 6. Here goes Hensley to the inside. Diving in, will take that position away from Cunningham. Anderson now 3rd, Hensley 4th, and in 5th place it is Cunningham. That's the driver cam of the 31, Blake Hensley. He is knocking on the door of the podium right now as he is breathing down the back bumper of the 42. The gap 2 car lengths as they make their way through 1. A big slide for the 42. The 31 right there to capitalize. And he'll move into 3rd. Cody Anderson got really loose coming off of turn 1. A big slide across the curbing there. The 31 able to capitalize, take advantage. Got right on by him before they even hit the S's. And now we have a new face inside that podium group right now. Penn, Kostick, and now Hensley. Although the gap between each of those drivers is standing at about 9 to 10 seconds as they run. Just behind them, though, Iverson and Kurtz, the 24 and the 5, having a pretty good battle for 6th. You see them making their way down the short chute just behind this 3-car battle for 3rd. Iverson has a mirror full of the 5 right now. Only a car length the gap the distance going into turn 6 there. Iverson and now Kurtz maybe taking a look to the inside. Going to slow up just a little bit there through turn 7. Didn't like the line of entry there. Backed out a hair. And we'll try and regroup down the front stretch. Iverson dives it into turn 1. He's pulled out some separation from Kurtz there after the 5 checked up in turn 7. However, the 5 has gotten right to his back bumper through 1, and now the opening part of the S's. He is putting the pressure on for 6th. We're on board. with, I believe that was one of the 24 or the 5 that were on board with the 24, and guess he's running the special, the Pennywise run tonight. Little terrifying to jump into with no heads up, but there he is. You know, it's one of those situations where you're glad you don't see the other drivers face when you're racing against them, because that would be a helmet that I would be a little scared of running next to. 24, currently running in the 6th position here. He's got the edge over the 5 for now, but not by much. You see they make their way back into turn 7 once again. The 24 seems to be able to pull a little bit of distance on the 5 after turn 7, but he seems to lose it going through turn 1. We'll see if that's the case here again as they make their way for lap 13. And looking at the timing tower, 2 cars are off track at the moment. The 41 of Matt McMeekin, who we saw get binned earlier off the bus stop, that car, I believe, is done for the day. And Craig Schroeder in the 56 also scored 5 laps down and not running at the moment. So both of those cars with a rough start to their evening here, but 15 cars still remain on the lead lap. As they dive in to the bus stop, the 5 goes way wide. He did not catch the corner like he wanted, falls way back. He's lucky he didn't put it in the wall there. And he'll try and rally back and get that thing collected before the 15 of Matt Grenier gets to his back bumper. But that was a scary moment there for Andy Kurtz. We'll see if we can take a look at the replay here. Diving in toward the bus stop, and the 5 just bounced and could not get that car turned around. Was lucky to able to do so here without losing too much speed, but having to go through the grass and really killed a lot of that momentum because he was pressuring the 24 pretty heavily and just bounced it. It was a good save, though, by the 5 to keep that thing off the wall, and his race will continue from the 7th position. Still maintaining about a 1-second gap over Matt Grenier there, so he lost out several seconds to Iverson, but that could have been significantly worse if he wasn't able to save that car. Got a good battle back up in 4th place right now as well. Cody Anderson and Daniel Cunningham within a second of each other here. Both of these cars qualified well and have been running well through this opening stage. The 42 and the 08. Bit of a different season so far for both of these drivers. Daniel Cunningham has really found his stride here the past couple weeks. 3 top 5s over the past 4 races, including the win at Nashville a few weeks ago. Meanwhile, the 42 of Cody Anderson, he has had a bit of a rougher season. He does have the pole from Michigan, but he only has 1 top 10 finish so far this year. It was a 6th place finish at Mid-Ohio. So the road courses seem to be the 42's bread and butter so far, and he's trying to capitalize on it here with a really solid run right now, currently scored in the top 5. Got 5 laps to go in this opening stage. Alex Penn, your leader. Kostick, Hensley, Anderson, and Cunningham, your top 5 as they run right now. Daniel Cunningham having a bit of a better run than he did at Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago. Finished 11th in that race, currently scored 5th, so you know, maybe some road course acumen has been learned over the past month and change here since the last time they had to go left and right. We're going to take a look here. We can figure out what happened to the 56. Actually, we do know he's off track, but we didn't catch it, whatever it was in the moment. So we will try and see if we can find what happened there. But in the meantime, producer Christian, I would love if we could dial up the onboard view of the 30 of Alex Penn, just to take a lap around here and see what the leader's seeing from his perspective and seeing what he's doing so much better than the rest of the field right now, because he is clearly head and shoulders faster than every other car on track. So we are on board here with the 30 as he makes his way through the carousel. We will take a lap here with the 30 of Alex Penn, barring any major calamity happening elsewhere on track, and we'll see what the 30 is doing so well that he's really opened up this lead. He's opened it up by about a second a lap here. Here he comes off of turn 7, gets right up to that outside wall. No speed to be wasted there. To make their way through turn 1 up toward the S's. One of the big things I notice with him is that that wheel is constantly active. It is constantly seesawing through all of these corners, trying to maintain as much speed while keeping the car under him. Even on the straightaways, you see it a little bit as well. Really dives into the bus stop, gets a whole lot of curb there, but able to navigate that machine through the bus stop pretty effectively, and then into the carousel they go, that big sweeping right-hander. Where he has that nice wide release, maintain as much speed as he can, and then we'll go down through turns 6 and 7 here. Tony Iverson has brought it down pit road. So as we see Alex Penn conclude this lap, it'll be 3 laps to the stage break here when he hits the stripe. But for the 24 of Tony Iverson, he's going to pit a little bit early. He's actually going to be just ahead of the leader, trying to get back out here on fresh tires. We'll see if he's able to stay on the lead lap with the 30 coming in pretty fast here. But this is going to be an interesting strategy for the 24, trying to pit ahead of the stage break, maybe try and get some track position when everyone else comes down pit road. Although what will really help him is if he can stay on the lead lap here. He's only got a car length gap between him and Penn, and now Alex Penn looks to the inside to put the 24 a lap down. And he will. So he is the first car a lap down, and he's the only car 1 lap down, so he will receive the free pass at the end of the stage. But I'm curious where that will shuffle him out in the order, having to take the free pass while everyone else comes down pit road. He's trying to get that track position, but getting the lucky dog will drop you to the end of the field. So this strategy may not be working out as well as the 24 would have hoped. He needs to find a way back around the 30 before the end of the stage. As they make their way off turn 7, that gap opening up a little bit there. The 30 got a really clean release. Diving into turn 1 here. You see the 24 tried getting real late on the brakes. Closed that gap up a little bit, but Alex Penn just so smooth here on these road courses. 18 seconds clear of the next car for position. That is Michael Kostick, who's only starting to now make his way through turn 1 into the S's. And lap 20 is the stage break, so once the 30 crosses the line, I do believe they will throw the yellow for the stage break. And I think a lot of cars will come down pit road and try and get fresh fuel and new tires, including our leader here. But I like the strategy idea from the 24. I just wonder if he pulled the trigger on it a little too late. He did not give himself a very big window to try and stay ahead of the 30 on track, and ultimately here he may end up not getting that flipped track position that he was hoping for. And the leader will cross the start-finish line to start lap 20. And sometime during this lap, I believe we'll see the yellow fly. I think they need the top 10 to cross the line for the sake of stage points, as the 80 real loose through the bus stop there. So looking back here, a good battle for 8th, sorry. Matt Grenier, Lucas Lyons duking it out. The 48 swinging it way wide there, trying to get that extra stage point if he can get it. But as they roll down the front stretch here, it'll be Grenier, Lyons, and then Justin Ray in the 10th position. Brings it across, and that will trigger the yellow here. The stage break is out. The stage winner, Alex Penn in that number 30 car, dominant so far in the opening going here, leading all 20 laps, and it wasn't even close. A masterful opening stint from the driver of the 30. He was opening up over a second a lap. So for that number 30 car of Alex Penn, that is his 4th stage victory of the season. It's only been 11 races, so there has been no one who has benefited more from these stage wins than the number 30 machine. And despite his one win, he is second in points. And this is definitely going to help get that little extra bit that he's looking for as they make their way to the playoffs in Pocono in 2 weeks' time. So accumulating those points any way he can get them. And it sounds like the 30 is actually clutching it a little bit. Curious what the thought process is there, unless it's just trying to spend less time on pit road refueling it. That was something that we saw with the 30 at Mid-Ohio. He took too long on pit road at the stage break after leading all the opening stage there. Fell back in traffic a little bit, and then got into some trouble trying to get back around the field, and only was able to retake the lead with a few laps to go. Had a really good battle with James Silvers in that one, as well as I believe Blake Hensley was in there as well. Maybe the aid of Caustic in that bunch. Trying to remember back to that race. Yeah, it was Caustic in that mix as well. So a lot of good fighting. Oh, it was Brandon Holder in the 33. Him and Silvers have traded off that battle, but neither here nor there. Penn got marred back in traffic, had to fight his way through in that second stage, and was only able to regain the lead with a couple laps to go. I wonder if that's weighing on the mind of the 30 right now, knowing that's what happened the last time they hit these road courses, and maybe looking to try and have a different tune this time around. So they'll make their way through 6 into turn 7. The 30 going to bring it down pit road here, as will the rest of those cars in that lead group. The pit stops have begun here from Watkins Glen. And now rolling down pit road is the 30. Crews up on the wall. This very well could be one of the only pit stops they see here today. So it's all that more critical that you nail it. Into the box they go, both the 30 and the 8. See everyone else sliding in as well. Right side's up, or left side's up on the car. This backwards pit road here at Watkins Glen, one of the few tracks where you start the left side and then the right side. They start peeling off pit road. Penn will win the race off pit road. Caustic and Hensley, that top 3. So no changes in the top 3 as how they ran off of pit road there. I don't think any real changes in the top 5 either, as Anderson and Cunningham were the next 2 cars off pit road. So 22 laps complete here from Watkins Glen, nearing the halfway point of today's race. Alex Penn leading every lap to this point. He has been dominant up front. No one's had anything for him. Michael Caustic and Blake Hensley have been the best of the rest so far, running in that podium position, but they have not been super close. But that's also been, especially the 31, had to fight through a lot of traffic to get up into 3rd. I'm curious what he'll do now that he doesn't have to fight his way from the back half of the top 10 into that spot. Will he have anything for the 30 or the 8? These 3 cars, Penn, Caustic, and Hensley, all cars that were within the top 4 finishers at Mid-Ohio back in the 4th race of the season. They are some of the best road racers in the Overtake iRacing League's Xfinity Series. Curious if they will have a different battle this time around after Penn so clearly dominated that opening stage. He seems to know his way around this track better than anybody. Don't forget, folks, we are doing a poll for driver of the day. If you feel that one of these drivers out here have caught your eye as, you know, someone who's either had a really impressive run or has run a really dominating race, feel free to drop it in chat as your vote for driver of the day. At the end of the race, we'll have a little graphic to celebrate whoever the winner is for driver of the day here today. The lights are out on the pace car, bringing it to 1 to go this time by. Fred's leading them through the S's here. Nice leisurely stroll in the iRacing safety car. Got the field grouped up behind them. Penn and Kostick, row 1. Hensley and Anderson, row 2. And then Cunningham and Andy Kurtz in row 3. That number 5 machine, who almost put it in the wall through the bus stop in that opening stage, was able to save it, keep himself in contention here, and keeps himself in this top group. The back bit of the top 10 here, Hall and Grenier, and then Lucas Lyons, Justin Ray. The rest of the cars on track, Travis and Brett Bieber in 11th and 12th. Drew Prohl, Dustin Reinsettle, and then Tony Iverson, who tried the strategy call, couldn't quite get it to work. But he is currently scored in the 15th and final position on track. So 15 cars still with a chance to win this one. So make the way out of the carousel. It'll be very critical here for the 8 of Michael Kostick to try and get a jump to keep alongside the 30 of Penn in the turn 1. If they let him get too far out of sight, that might be all she wrote. This is a prime opportunity for him, for Hensley, and for Anderson to try and duke it out up front while everyone's still all grouped together. There'll be 27 laps to go when they hit the line. Pace car gonna peel off down pit road. Barney's got that green flag in the air. And we are racing once again from Watkins Glen. The 31 and the 8 right there on the back bumper of the 30. Diving into turn 1, here they go, 2, 3 wide in some places. Hensley to the inside of Kostick for second here through the S's. Oh, big slide for the 31. He put it in the grass, was lucky to keep it under him. The 31 of Blake Hensley nearly lost it through the S's. Going sideways there would have been dangerous for not only him, but for the rest of the field, because there's not a whole lot of room to operate up there. But he was luckily able to keep it under him, but he will fall back into third here. Meanwhile, the battle is on just behind him. Cunningham and Lyons going to duke it out here for the 4th position. That 48 had a really good turn 1, got inside of everybody, and drove up a couple of positions. Will go past the 08 here potentially. Cunningham ran really wide. Will try and get back on course here, but he'll slide in behind the 48. Lucas Lyons now up in the 4th. On board here with the 08 of Cunningham. Going to see if he can try and rally his way back up to Lyons. And Alex Penn, through all of that chaos and confusion, able to open up the 1 second gap over Michael Kostick, and he might be gone. The 31 is loose again in turn 1. He was right on the back bumper of Kostick, lost the handle on that 31, had to catch it. That car's still very loose as it's snapping all over the place on him. He's having a hard time keeping that thing under control right now. Lucas Lyons will go on by. The 31 falls to 4th. Anderson going to maintain that 5th position just ahead of Cunningham and Hall. Through the dirt there, the 31. That Supra seems to be an absolute handful right now. Just behind them, though, good battle, Iverson and Bobby Hall. Iverson tried the strategy play earlier. It didn't work. He's got the long way to go to work his way back through the field. Currently scored in the 8th position. He's made some major moves in the opening couple laps, and now might look to the inside of Hall. Big slide for the 24. Luckily, he didn't spin it. He nearly doored the 94, had to get on the brakes. The car snapped sideways on him. He'll lose out to Kurtz, might lose out to Grenier here as well. Drivers getting a little more ambitious with the passes they're trying to make here as this second stage kicks off. As we've reached the halfway mark of tonight's race. Good battle just ahead of this for 6th. Cunningham has got a mirror full of Bobby Hall right now. The 08 and the 94 duking it out. They've also got the 42 of Anderson there. Kurtz and Iverson all closing in on this battle. We're on board here with the 94. You can see that gap. Only one car length to the back bumper of Cunningham. Bit of a wider line through turn 7. Gonna try and cut back in behind the 08 here down the front stretch. Here goes Hall, looking to the inside here in 1. Thinks about sticking his nose in. Gets a decent run through the corner. They'll still be side by side through the S's maybe. But power move there by Cunningham. Shuts the door. And now Andy Kurtz right onto the back bumper of Hall, looking to take away the position. This battling is starting to pull them back away from the top 5 here, but furious battle here for 6 as now Hall looks to the inside. He dives in on Cunningham, takes the position away. Iverson to the inside of Kurtz as well. Ambitious move through the bus stop. He gets the position temporarily, but Kurtz fighting back on the inside in the carousel. Kurtz going to slide on by here, reclaim that 8th position. Him and Iverson duking it out right now for 8th. We'll have to take a look at that replay in a second here. That pass took us completely by surprise. We were watching the battle between Hall and Cunningham, but now Kurtz and Iverson putting on a show as well. A lot of action in this 6th through 9th section right now. Here's the replay of Tony Iverson. It looked like he got loose out of 4, and then he got a really good run off the draft and just stuck it in there on Kurtz, flung it in, got the position through the bus stop, but got really loose. And as that wide exit off the end of it allowed Kurtz to get back to the inside and reclaim the position, but Iverson willing to make those kind of moves here in this second stage. Looks like that action has settled down for just a second. Just ahead of them, though, Hall and Cunningham continue to battle for 6th. The 94 and the 08 within a car length of each other off the carousel. Nice scenic view of what's going on there as we cut to this battle between the 94 and the 08. Cunningham has gotten passed by Hall, but hasn't let them gotten away just yet. Make their way down the front stretch here, lap 29 of 50. The 08 runs a lane off the bottom compared to the 94, who ran right alongside the curbing on the inside of turn 1. Lets the 94 pull away just a little bit here from the 08. Black, white, and pink Oregon Ducks machine starting to fall back just a little bit here. Currently scored in the 7th position. Andy Kurtz starting to knock on the door there as well. Looking up toward the front of the field as well. Michael Kostick in the 8, the 48 of Lucas Lyons. A decent battle developing here for 2nd place as the 48 has closed the gap to Kostick. It's only about 2-3 car lengths here as they make their way through turns 6 and 7. And as they make their way toward the front stretch, Lucas Lyons is there. The 48 has had to work his way through most of the entire field here today. qualified way back in the pack and has worked his way up now into the top 3, looking to take away second place here from the 8 of Caustic. Lions, so far this season, only one top 5, but he is top 10 in 5 of the 10 races so far this season. Would love to tack on another top 5 here, maybe even the win if he can get around the 8 of Caustic here, but they both are sitting 4 seconds behind the 30 of Penn. Right now, though, a solid run and a lot of points potentially coming the way of the 48 with the run he's got going right now, especially if he can tack on this position here around Caustic. Caustic, on the other hand, 3 wins this season, leading the OiL Xfinity Series in victories, most of them coming in last lap dramatic fashion. Currently scored second here, has a series leading amount of top 5s and 10s. 5 top 5s this season, 8 top 10s, including the 3 victories. Currently leads the points, putting together a really strong run himself here today. Through turn 1 they go. The gap has closed about a car length here over the past lap between Caustic and Lions. They're going to make their way through the S's. The big question is, especially when you hit the backstretch, will you be able to utilize the draft here? That 48 going to close up just a little bit. We'll dive it in to the bus stop. You can see he's up 12 spots from where he started, 15 the third so far. He's got a really, really solid run going right now. He's seeing just enough of that back bumper of Caustic where he wants to reach out and try and grab it, but he's not close enough yet to try and make the pass. They'll round their way off of turn 7, and the gap will remain at this point. About half a second right now between Lions and Caustic. And as they make their way toward lap 32, we are going to take a quick step away for a little side-by-side action. Don't go anywhere, folks. The live audio feed will be right back, but in the meantime, a little side-by-side commercial action, but you'll still be able to see all the action on track here live on Vspeed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, folks. You were seeing all the action here side by side live on Vspeed. But while we were gone, we do need to cut back to figure out what happened to the 80 of Drew Proles. We see the 5 there of Andy Kurtz go well wide through the bus stop. He'll lose out that position to Iverson. He'll fall back just a little bit here. But let's see if we can see what happened to the 80 of Drew Proles. So he goes sideways through the bus stop. Able to lock it down, though, to make sure he doesn't make contact with the wall. A good save there to make sure he doesn't damage that number 80 machine, but certainly going to cost him a good bit of time on track here. And then loses it again in the carousel. Those tires definitely not super happy right now. They are refusing to stick to the track surface. But he is still on track, still trying to muscle it out. Currently scored in the 13th position, which as he runs at the moment would be one of the better finishes for the 80 this season. His best finish came last week at Richmond. It was a top 5. He finished 5th. But beyond that, his best finish outside of that Richmond race was the 14th at Iowa. So a 13th would be his second best finish of the season. Jumping back up toward the front here, you got Michael Kostic, Lucas Lyons. This battle still persisting. Lyons has fallen back just a little bit from the 8. Maybe not enough to pressure him now, as the 8 actually brings it down pit road. Pit stop time here for the 8 of Michael Kostic. Going to try and top off and make sure he has enough fuel to the end. Maybe going to try the undercut here on the leaders. So he will start dropping down the timing table. Looks like the 31 of Hensley in as well. Left side's up. Looks like we have another taker on pit road as well. Tony Iverson brings it down. So looks like the pit window has opened here for the last time here tonight. Cars trying the undercut, seeing if they can gain any sort of time on not only the leader, Alex Penn, but also anyone else here in the field that they might be battling with. Is the 31 back on track now. Falls back to 12th here with the pit cycle, but everyone else might need to come down pit road as well, and he'll gain a lot of positions as everyone else cycles through. 14 laps to go here in this race. 37 down, 14 to go. Alex Penn leads by 14 seconds. Now make it more, because second place Lucas Lyons is going to be bringing it down pit road as well. The 48, one of the first pit boxes here. And now the left sides will go up on that machine. A lot of cars here in that top 10 group trying to get the undercut going. You see Andy Kurtz bringing it down pit road as well. The two of them trying to figure out how to sort each other out on pit road. Almost collided there, but Kurtz makes it into his box in time. And now the 5 will begin service on his machine. So now as things cycled out on track while Alex Penn leads, you're seeing this battle here for 5th place between Matt Grenier and Justin Ray. They had been running in the back part of the top 10 up until just a few minutes ago, but now find themselves battling on track for P5. Justin Ray here, wide exit off the carousel. Going to look maybe to the inside of Grenier, now back to the outside. Not really able to find any of that room he was looking for. Will settle back in behind. He's up 10 positions from where he qualified here today. Solid run here for the 38. Wondering when some of these other drivers will think about bringing it down pit road. It's a big slide for the 38 there off of 7. Will drop him back, and our leader was on pit road. The 30 of Alex Penn is now pitting for the last time here today. Going to really shuffle up the order. Left sides are down, right sides going up here for the number 30 car. And now we see how the pit cycle has played out. Michael Kostick right there. So the 30 makes his way off of pit road. Michael Kostick, though, not too far behind the leader. He's only about half a second back right now between them. Maybe scored as a second. The undercut worked really well there for the number 8. And he is within at least visual distance here of the provisional leader of this race with 13 laps to go. Cody Anderson holds the lead right now, but we're expecting him to have to come down pit road as well. And when everyone cycles through, it will go back to Kostick and Penn here. See, right now we're looking off the front nose of that number 8 machine. You can see the 30 just in the distance. And this is the time, I'm sure, for the 8 to try and give it everything he's got, try and close that gap, and give the 30 a run for his money here today. Everything starting to cycle through. A few more takers down pit road. Justin Ray makes his stop on pit road. Matt Grenier stopping as well. They make their way off of pit road. This was a battle on track just a second ago, and it'll continue to be a battle on track on pit exit. The 15 just stays ahead of the 38 by a nose coming off of pit road, and this battle will continue once again on track. Looking up toward the front of the field, though, the 42 of Cody Anderson has company up at the front of the field. The 94 will now swing on around as Anderson brings it down pit road. He'll take his service here with 11 laps to go, and Bobby Hall will inherit the lead and bring us to the 11 to go marker here. He still needs to come down pit road, to my understanding. But he is now one of only 2-3 cars who have not come down pit road yet. He makes his way through the S's. He's got soon-to-be lap traffic in front of him here with the 80 of Drew Prohl. The 80 still on the lead lap, but maybe not for long as the 94 follows him into the bus stop. Whoa, the 80 into the wall through the bus stop. The back bumper of that car completely demolished. He's going to try and roll his way back on track here, just in front of the 32 of Brett Bieber, who will go around the outside through the carousel, at least attempt to go around the outside in the carousel. Brett Bieber currently scored second. We'll try and get around lap traffic here. And just behind them, that is the provisional race for the lead. Penn and Kostick, that gap has opened up from a second to about a second and a half. Those two cars have already come down pit road. But here's the replay on what happened with the 80. Made his way into the bus stop. Big wheel hop off the curb. And then just lost the back end of the car. Slides it and does not have the time to lock that one down. Backed it into the outside wall or the infield wall, and heavy rear end damage there to the 80. So the 94 of Bobby Hall comes down pit road, leaving Brett Bieber in the 32 as the lone car on track, who has yet to come down pit road for this final pit cycle, to my understanding. And here comes Alex Penn as well. This will be a battle for position, but the 32 has yet to pit. The 80 once again spinning in the bus stop. Sideways there as Kostick will roll on by, as will Lucas Lyons. And Penn will make his way around the inside of Bieber. And Alex Penn will re-inherit the lead here with 10 laps to go. Alex Penn has opened up the gap to 3.5 seconds over Michael Kostick, 4.5 over Lucas Lyons. He has been dominant all evening long, and now with 9 laps to go, may be unopposed here for the win as the 32 of Brett Bieber will bring it down pit road, the last car in the pit cycle to do so. Curious to see where the 32 shuffles out when this is all said and done. He stayed out longer than anyone else on track, probably to try and push this last few laps as hard as possible. And the 32 looks like he will cycle out toward the back part of the top 10 as he makes his way off of pit road. Looks like Grenier and Ray will likely get by as well. He'll jump right in to make it a 3-car battle here. Make it 4 with Tony Iverson. A lot of cars fighting for this last spot in the top 10. The last 2 spots in the top 10. So the 32 here shuffled back into 11th. He was the last car to come down pit road, but he is the car with the freshest tires on track. So after the pit cycle, Alex Penn leads ahead of Michael Kostick, Lucas Lyons, Blake Hensley, and Andy Kurtz. Bobby Hall, Cody Anderson, Travis Beaver, Matt Grenier, and Justin Ray, your top 10 as they run. Other cars still on the lead lap here, Brett Bieber, Tony Iverson, Daniel Cunningham, and Dustin Reinsettle. And Drew Prohl, the only car on track who is a lap down, with 1 lap down. McMeekin and Schroeder out of this race as Ray dives to the inside here in 7. Justin Ray side by side with Matt Grenier through the corner. Did not get the corner exit he needed, though. Will fall back behind the 15. 8 laps to go here from Watkins Glen. Big slide for the 38. He really had to get out of the throttle to catch that car, and it's going to give an opportunity for the 32 to close up toward his back bumper. It's just behind them, actually. We have a great battle for 12th. Cunningham breathing down the neck of Tony Iverson. Also have a really good battle going on right now for 6th place between Bobby Hall and Cody Anderson, the 94 and the 42. See if we can take a look at that battle. Into turn 6 they go, Hall and Anderson. The 42 looking for his best finish of the season since Mid-Ohio back in the 4th race of the season. Bobby Hall right now trying to hold on to 6th. What would be his 6th straight race that he's run with a 6th or best finish. Right now that 42 of Cody Anderson, his best finish of the year is 6th, so if he can get around D94, he would tie his season best that he picked up at Mid-Ohio. 7 laps to go as they run. Hall getting a bit of separation here from the 42. Just behind them, looks like the 15 of Grenier under pressure from Justin Ray. As they make their way into the bus stop, Brett Bieber also on the scene. 8th, 9th, and 10th, all nose to tail through the bus stop. As they go into the carousel here, Grenier will lead them. Run about a half lane off the curb. Brett Bieber really hugged that line. We'll see who gets the better run on corner exit. As they make their way to 6. Diving in, here's the 15. 38 up on the curbs, trying to maximize everything through this section. Will close right up to the back bumper of the 15, but then does not get that run off the corner that he needs. The 15 so good on the exit of 7. Able to really separate again from Ray after he does all that work over the course of the lap to close that gap back down. Be 6 laps to go as they run. Grenier, Ray, and Bieber all fighting for 8th. Like Andy Kurtz in the 5 is also now under some pressure from Bobby Hall through the bus stop. The 94 has closed the gap, so has Cody Anderson. The 5 has struggled with some of his long run stability here today. There's another slide coming out of that corner. The 94 going to get the better run. He's closing right up to the back bumper of the 5. Will Hall make his move in the 6. He'll settle in. Right in the 5's tire tracks through the corner. Looks to follow him through here. That Chevy and that Ford right now, nose to tail, another Chevy Camaro lurking in the wings. 5 to go. Hall looks to the inside of Kurtz here in the turn 1. Oh, bit of contact between the two. The 94 nudges the 5 out of the way in 1 and takes away that 5th place position. Cody Anderson on the scene now as well, trying to capitalize. The 94 dove it into turn 1 and just kind of pushed the 5 up and out of the way. Not a whole lot of contact, but enough to take the 5 up a lane and create some room for him to make the pass. But Kurtz trying to get to his back bumper. Power slides it through the carousel. He's trying to put that power down and reel in Bobby Hall right now. And a big slide for the 5. Almost catches the wall off of the carousel. He was lucky to keep that thing off the fence. And now he'll have to settle in the 7th. Cody Anderson rolled right on past him while the 5 was in that slide. The 5 really struggling on handling right now. We 4 to go right now. And it looks like Andy Kurtz maybe trying to settle into the 7th position here. He's got a big gap back to Matt Grenier as the 42 runs way wide in turn 1. He'll lose out some time to the 94, and this whole group starts to fan out a little bit. Looks like there's some decent battling going on as well for 10th right now. The 08 of Cunningham. It's got Iverson knocking on the doorstep as well. Three laps to go, the timing tower says, as Alex Penn will make his way through turn 1. Anderson will roll here through 6. Jonah see what he can do to track down the 94. But up front, it is Alex Penn. You can see that is Michael Kostick coming out of the S's there as Penn makes his way into the bus stop. The undercut was a valiant effort there from the 8 of Kostick, trying to do what he could to get back to the back bumper of 30 of Penn. And it worked out pretty well. He got down to within a second. But Penn, on those slightly fresher tires, has just been able to drive away as he has most of the day. And as he comes to the line for 2 laps to go, he just has to hit his marks cleanly. He doesn't even have to hit it with a whole lot of intensity. He's got a massive gap right now. He just needs to make sure he doesn't have any mental lapses. Looks like Hensley into 31 has closed in to within a second of the 48 of Lucas Lyons, just behind them as they make their way down the front stretch. But even that's the battle for 3rd, and they're just hitting the line now. Hensley going to see if he has anything for Lyons, who's been on a warpath this second stage. That 48 up 12 positions from where he started. Might be about as many as he gets here. Hensley going to try and reel him in for one last attempt on these final couple laps, but it's a big gap. He's going to have to close in. Oh, the 31 in the wall. He got loose coming off the bus stop and smack the inside wall trying to chase down Lions. And instead, he will gash the side of that machine off the inside wall, lose a ton of time in the process. He's got a huge gap back to Bobby Hall, but he'll have to settle in to the 4th position, and I think that's going to be where he stays, barring any major incidents. But the white flag is in the air here for Alex Penn as he makes his way up through the S's for the final time here tonight. Here he goes to the backstretch. He has led just about every lap here tonight outside of a few on the pit cycle. There's been a couple of lead changes when everyone cycled through. The one caution for the stage break, but he's led 46, soon to be 47 of the 50 laps here tonight. Dominant drive from the number 30 machine. He picked up his first victory of the season back at Mid-Ohio, and now he has only 2 corners before he can cement himself as the OiL Xfinity road ace here, going left and right. Through turn 6 he goes. And as he makes his way off the final corner for the 2nd time this season, the 30 of Alex Penn will win. He'll pick up the victory at Watkins Glen and become the 3rd multi-time winner this season. Dominating drive from the 30. And it looks like our podium finishers here likely to be Caustic and Lions as well. Incredible drive there for that 30 machine. He has definitely cemented himself, I'd imagine, amongst his peers as the king of the road course here in the Overtake iRacing League's Xfinity Series. Had the rally back for a big win in Mid-Ohio a few weeks ago, and now a dominant drive at Watkins Glen. He'll bring it around one more time as everyone else finishes up their laps, and then he'll go to burn it down on the front stretch. And here he comes to burn it down on the front stretch to celebrate his victory here today. Really tearing it down, letting people get the smoke show. And he's going to be rolling it back toward the entrance of pit road as everyone else is trying to filter back on the pit road here. Curious on what the 30 is doing here. Wonder if he's going to just park it, bring it down pit road, or maybe a Polish victory lap. It'd be a very long Polish victory lap, that's for sure. Gonna go explore the track limits a little bit, maybe, as our race winner tonight. Curious. Oh, he's gonna go full speed into that wall, I think. Diving in, air into the sky. The 30 absolutely bins the winning car into the catch fence. Shades of Jimmy Johnson. And I think that's how he's going to get out of the car. That's something that you can only do in the virtual ones, no doubt about that. But let's take a look at that replay. Look at the hang time that Penn gets here. Gets up off the curbing and goes into space, up over the tire barrier pretty cleanly and just straight into the catch fence. Impressive stuff. Christian, what would you grade him on the hang time there? He's going to give it a pretty crisp 8 out of 10. So we'll talk now to our race winner tonight, the 30 of Alex Penn, burning it down and then absolutely setting sail into the turn 1 catch fence. Congrats on your victory. Talk us through your race tonight. I'd imagine it must have been pretty boring.
Well, it was until that green flag pit stop because, I went to go slow down for my box and my brake pedal didn't move. It got stuck up and it locked and it was a little bit scary. Had to come fully off the brake and ended up missing my box because of that. I got it. It went down the second time, but it was a fun race nonetheless. I always love running Watkins Glen, so that helped a lot.
It certainly seemed like you were enjoying your time out here in the Glen. I mean, that car was dialed in from the moment the green flag dropped here tonight. You've picked up your second victory of the season, both of them on the 2 road courses of the regular season schedule. Does that give you some momentum here going into the postseason, knowing that there is another road course to come in the opening round?
Yeah, pretty excited about it. I gotta take a look at which track it is, but we'll definitely be practicing a couple weeks early and just getting ready. Make sure that we do have the car dialed in and ready to go for that week.
Yeah, that'll be at the Chicago Street Course, which I'm sure will
Gotcha.
be a interesting challenge all on its own. But you went out there, you picked up the victory, and I have to ask you, at what point did you decide that you were going to try and put your car into the stratosphere tonight to celebrate?
Well, it was the last time we were gonna be racing the Skip Barber Racing School car for at least the regular season, so I figured might as well give the fans a little bit of show. And I guess we probably did take out a couple fans in the process, so I'll probably have to pay some of the winnings to those families, and we'll we'll see what happens legally.
Well, luckily for you, I think the virtual fans might be all right. I'm sure they'll be taken to the infield care center in due time, as I'm sure your driver will as well. I mean, he probably hit that catch fence pretty hard, but ultimately, a good run for you today. Second victory of the season. Get you that much closer in the points race for regular season champion. Overall, what were your final thoughts from today? And is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fun race. Good race with Michael. He definitely kept me honest after that pit stop. I would like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, the rest of the admin team for putting on the league, Aerial Professional of Western North Carolina, Function Junction Smoke Shop, GG's of Waynesville, North Carolina, Mountain View Detailing, Waynesville Tire, Skip Barber Racing School, who I believe were on the car tonight. We let an intern wrap the car, so I'm not sure if that actually ended up being the case or not. Uh, Cornerstone and Cornerstone Motorsports as well.
Well, you and Cornerstone Motorsports will bring it home with the victory here tonight. Big win for you in the regular season hunt, and a big win for Cornerstone in the team standings battle. But ultimately, congrats on the victory, and we hope to see you again in the booth real soon, Alex.
Thank you.
And that was Alex Penn, who was our winner here tonight in that number 30 Chevy Camaro. Bringing up the second step of the podium. It was the 8 of Michael Kostick. Brings it home P2 tonight. Pretty solid drive. Started second, finished second. What was the race like for you, Michael? It seemed like you had a good bit of speed and had a chance there potentially on the green flag pit cycle, but just was not close enough to strike.
Yeah, I was trying to get him on the undercut, but he had such a big lead. He's so fast at road courses. It's tough to beat him outright, so you kind of got to try to strategize some things. I know he said he had a little bit of trouble on pit road, so I was able to close the gap a little bit more than I thought I would. But ultimately, second place is a win when you're fighting Alex on road courses.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really solid run. It looked like we might have had some battling up there, but then the 30 it was on rails tonight, it seemed like all night. Obviously, with qualifying second and then running second a good bit of the race, was there any incident where you thought, or any instance where you thought that the 48 of Lucas Lyons might be trying to get up to your back bumper, or did you feel pretty confident in your pace tonight to hold down that second spot?
No, Lucas is quick on road courses, and I know Watkins Glen's his favorite track, so there near the end, I was kind of hoping he was gonna get up to meet a battle and have a little bit of fun there, but said he was short on fuel, so he had to go into conservation mode. So there went that little bit of fun, but yeah, I mean, anytime someone's running you down on a road course, you kind of got one eye in the mirror, one eye forward, trying to see what they're doing, see if you can switch something up, and yeah, I mean, it's just do that and try to still not make any mistakes.
Yeah, and last question I've got for you here tonight. Obviously, you came into tonight with the points lead, but you were the next closest competitor was Alex Penn. To my understanding, yes, it was Alex Penn, who will probably gain a little bit of ground on you here tonight. How do you feel about your odds of locking down the regular season title here going into Daytona next week?
I would say it's a little bit better if it wasn't Daytona next week, so it's kind of a crapshoot there. Yeah, my goal coming in here, knowing how good Alex is just try to keep the gap as big as possible and score as many points as I can. So accomplish that. Happy with the way the race went, and just go to Daytona next week, try to survive, and see if we can get the regular season championship.
Alrighty, well, seems like as good a plan as any for Daytona. That's about as far as planning can go to a track like that. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here before we let you go on your way tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys at Vspeed for doing the broadcast. You guys always do a great job. It's fun going back and watching it. Alex, Dave, and Cody for all the work they do, admin in the league, and keeping everything kind of in check, and my teammates at Bandits and C2.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on the podium finish there, Michael, and we hope to see you again in the booth real soon.
All right, man, thanks.
And that was second place finisher Michael Kostick, who will bring that number 8 machine home. One step away from the win, but one step closer to locking down that regular season title. Penn will gain a bit of ground on him in the point standing with the stage win and the race win, but he came into today 30 points to the good and will still maintain some semblance of that lead going into Daytona next week. And our last driver that we get to talk to tonight, rounding out our podium, it is the 48 of Lucas Lyons, who had a charge from 15th on the third. A good run through the field. Congrats on the podium finish, Lucas. Talk us through your night.
It was very up and down. I had to serve a drive-through penalty after what happened at Richmond, so that I did that lap one and try to gain as many spots as I could before I did that because I was planning on taking right side tires, and I guess I accidentally got into McMeekin, and I apologize for that. I mean, I had a strategy, and I thought Andy was out of the racing line, and I don't know what to do in that situation. I got Blake Hensley right behind me, and if I stepped on the brakes, I was gonna get ran over, and I tried to let off for him and stuff like that, but accidentally got into him. But at the stage, just try to gain as many spots as I could um, to hopefully be there at the end. And yeah, I had to save fuel up because of auto fuel, so I got to get that fixed. But other than that, it was all right.
Well, yeah, it seemed like you had to battle through some adversity tonight, but you were able to capitalize and pick up a pretty solid finish by the end of the day. Was there any thought going through your head those closing couple laps that you might have had a chance to run up to the 8 of Michael Kostick? It seemed like you were closing in.
If I had the fuel, I feel like I could have got there and hopefully raced him for second place, but I just needed to start saving fuel, and luckily I saved enough.
Yeah, it seemed like you were able to make it up there. Was there any thoughts about having to come down a second time, or was it just a matter of saving it because having to come back down pit road was just going to cost you too much time?
I figured I just had to save it because if I came down pit road, I wouldn't be talking to you all right now.
That's very fair. Well, glad that you were able to come up and join us in the booth here for a little bit. You had quite the drive out there today. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go on your way?
I want to thank Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Southeast Tutoring, SM Racing Products. If you save 15, if you use code Lucas Lyons, you can save 15% off on your purchase. I want to thank Healy for letting me race this race, even though I guess I'm not going to be able to race Daytona due to me being on probation and accidentally getting into Matt. But it is what it is. Hopefully, I still get to go playoff racing, and I want to thank all my Bandit guys and C2 teammates.
Alrighty. Well, on the chance that we don't see you at Daytona, we'll hopefully look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks' time at Pocono there, Lucas. Congrats on the podium. We hope to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
And that was Lucas Lyons, our P3 finisher here tonight. Had a good drive, but it sounds like we may not see him for the final race of the regular season at Daytona, so we might see that 48 machine back in action come Pocono in 2 weeks' time, but feels like a good time now to take a look at our overall finishing results here tonight from Watkins Glen. Alex Penn, or actually, before we get to the results, Producer Christian, do we want to do results and then driver of the day, or vice versa? All right, we'll do results first here. So the 30 of Alex Penn picks up the victory from the pole. Also got the stage win. Dominating drive there for the 30. Michael Kostick, same deal, but in P2 there. Started second, finished second. And then Lucas Lyons rounded out the podium there in P3. That number 48 machine, up 12 spots from where he started. Blake Hensley had a pretty good run, got from 8th to 4th, and finished within a second of that 48 there in P4. And then Bobby Hall goes from 13th to 5th and will pick up a pretty good points haul for him. Big gain there, and finishes the last car in that top 5 group. Cody Anderson ties his best finish of the season there in P6. Andy Kurtz in 7th there in the number 5 machine. Matt Grenier just barely holds off Justin Ray by 0.3 of a second to hold on to 8th place. Ray will finish 9th, and then Daniel Cunningham in the 08 will bring it home 10th. And on the backside of the grid tonight, Tony Iverson tried that strategy at the stage break, couldn't quite get it to pan out, and ultimately will bring it home 11th tonight, just ahead of Brett Bieber in the 32, who will finish 12th. Dustin Ryan settle 13th tonight in the number 11. Travis Bieber will finish 14th tonight, the last car on the lead lap, with Drew Prohl finishing 15th, Craig Schroeder 16th, Matt McMeekin 17th, and Michael Cole 18th tonight, all off the lead lap. Well, it is time for us to nominate our driver of the day. And, not a huge surprise, I feel like. We have to give it to the 30 of Alex Penn. I mean, just a dominant race. And, it's like maybe he didn't have to do a ton of, passing the field, but he had such a gap over the field. He was so clean running this race that it's hard to give it to anyone else, just with how smooth he drove here today and the gap he was able to open up in such a short period of time. So the 30 of Alex Penn will get the driver of the day on top of the victory here tonight. And to my understanding, I think that's just about gonna do it here tonight. So looking ahead for the rest of the Overtake iRacing League's Xfinity schedule, one more race in the regular season still to come. Next week at Daytona, the last chance for one of these drivers to try to win their way into the postseason. It'll come at that big 2.5-mile super speedway, the wild card where anything can happen and anybody could win it. The last race of the regular season before we get to Pocono in 2 weeks' time to kick off playoff racing here in the Overtake iRacing League. Overtake iRacing League also runs on Vspeed Monday Night Truck Series and the Wednesday Night Cup Series. So be sure to tune into that, 9 p.m. both times for those. And don't forget, if you're not already, subscribe to Vspeed. We've got iRacing content coming out just about every day here. So many leagues, so many talented drivers that deserve your eyeballs to watch and support them. So feel free to tune in to anything that we've got happening here on Vspeed. We've got races, I think it's like 6 nights a week or something like that. So for everyone here for the Overtake iRacing League, for producer Christian and all the folks at Vspeed, I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for tuning in to this presentation of OiL Xfinity at Watkins Glen, and we will catch you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Oh, big wiggle. And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Slack.